Hello, how are you doing? Welcome back to yet another English video lesson with me, Kanika ma'am. Now today, I'll be taking you through a world of story. Which story? You remember I told you in the last video, we are going to read about a story by Mark Twain. Yes, you guessed it right. An excerpt, an adaptation from The Adventures of Tom Sawyer novel by Mark Twain. Now, what is the name of that chapter? I told you, you don't remember. Now, let me give you a riddle and maybe you can recall. Guess the answer to this riddle, okay? 32 white horses on a red hill. First they climb, then they stamp, and then they stand still. What is that? Yes, your set of teeth. 32 teeth you have. On your jaw, you have those on the red jaw, you have your teeth. That's what. Now, whose teeth are we going to talk about? Obviously, Tom, because the name of the chapter is Tom and his tooth. Before I start with the chapter, I would like to give you a little background. I assume that you would have read a little about Tom Sawyer, and you would have seen the clips to the open to the links which I had given you, but then still I would like to start with the background. Now, Tom, whose mother died when he was a young baby, he's been taken care of by Aunt Polly, his mother's sister, and he has a brother as well whose name is Sid. Aunt Polly is a guardian to Tom now. Aunt Polly is a very kind-hearted woman who loves Tom and Sid. But then she realizes that now that she's a guardian to these two boys, she has to discipline them as well. So she has to be a strict guardian as well, but then she always has a soft heart for these two boys. She knows that Sid is a disciplined and a tamed boy, whereas Tom is a mischievous, naughty boy. He always has to get into some trouble, put Aunt Polly into some trouble, and he's always making excuses. You want to know one of the excuses he made with Aunt Polly? Yes, we are going to read about this in this chapter. So I'm going to start. I'll be reading out the chapter to you. So let's get started. Now, Tom and His Tooth is a story adapted from the novel The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, written by Mark Twain. Tom lives in the imaginary town of St. Petersburg along the Mississippi River with his Aunt Polly and half-brother Sid. So he lives with Aunt Polly and his half-brother Sid, as I told you, along the Mississippi River, which is one of the major rivers in North American continent. So now this is what the plot of the story is. It was a Monday morning. Tom did not want to go to school that day. He lay in bed thinking if he were ill, he wouldn't have to go to school. Happens with most of us. After enjoying a Sunday, a weekend, Monday morning, we really don't want to go to school. Very difficult. But then we have to go with the flow. Nowadays, I am sure you must be very happy that Mondays you don't have to come to school. But then we'll be coming back to normal soon. Alright, let's continue. So he wanted to pretend he's ill. But then he wasn't ill. His stomach felt alright. So did his head. He had a loose tooth that hurt sometimes. Then he thought, stomach is okay, head is okay. Why don't I just tell Aunt Polly that my tooth, it's hurting? But if Aunt Polly gets to know about the tooth, she would not even give it a second thought and she'll just pull it out. He thought, no, it would be a bad idea. Yes or no? Then he suddenly remembered. He had cut his toe the week before and he hadn't applied medicine on it. Maybe that cut would be serious enough to keep him at home. Now, this is another plotting. He remembers, he had cut his toe a long time back and now maybe he can use it as a way of not going to school. So, he thinks, okay, let me start with my made-up story in front of Sid and Aunt Polly. So what does he start with? He says. Tom began to groan louder and louder. What do you think he must be doing? He must be like, ah, ah, and he must be crying like that, trying to wake Sid up. Sid must be sleeping with him. Sid wouldn't. Sid was Tom's brother. Finally, he cried aloud, Sid, wake up! I am dying. Imagine the words he's using. What happened? Now Sid just wakes up. And he says, what happened, Tom? Sid asked. I'll call Auntie. Now, when Tom hears Auntie, he says, no, don't bother. I'll get better, Tom said, and groaned again. And but he was, now see, he's so scared of calling Auntie that he says, no, I'll be okay. He keeps crying, but then he doesn't want to call Auntie. Don't groan like that, Tom. Since how long you have been feeling like this? Asked Sid. All night. But I know I'm about to die, and I'm glad for it. Now, who is glad for dying? Look at the stories this little boy is making here. Sid. Now, see another part of his story. He says, Sid, I forgive you for everything. I forgive everyone. When I am dead. Now, scared, Sid, dead? Yes, Sid. Tell Aunt Polly that I forgive her for beating me. Give my cat to that new girl, please. Now, see the stories he's making. He just tells Sid, tell Aunt Polly I forgive her for beating me. Now, it's not his fault, or he feels that it's not his fault that Aunt Polly has beaten him. The fault lies with Aunt, that she has beaten him, but now look at this clever boy. And then he says, give away my cat to that little new girl. Now, probably it's about a new girl which lives near their house, and he's quite fond of that girl. Now, worried and scared, Sid runs down. Sid ran downstairs crying, Auntie, Tom's about to die. What? Is Tom dying? Aunt Polly cried. I don't believe, she said, rushing upstairs. Now imagine if a situation like this in front of us, when someone just comes to you early in the morning and says that the other person is dying. Won't it be scary? And for a parent, a guardian, obviously. But Tom knew that just for not going to school, such a clever boy, he could make n number of any kind of stories. What? Is Tom dying? Aunt Polly cried. I don't believe it, she said, rushing upstairs. She came running upstairs to Tom's room. What happened, Tom? Aunt Polly asked in a quivering voice. And she's like, what happened, Tom? Why do you think her voice was quivering? What is quivering? Now, she was in a shaky voice, upset and, not able to understand what to do, what's happening. In a quivering voice, she asks, what happened, Tom? She's very upset and, not able to understand how to deal with the situation. Oh, Aunt Polly, what's the matter, boy? She asked again. Oh, Aunt, my toe, it hurts. Oh, Aunt Polly puts on her glasses and checked Tom's toes. Suddenly she began to laugh and cry at the same time. Why do you think Aunt Polly cried and laughed at the same time? Have you ever experienced something like that? When your mother or your father just comes in and they just, have tears in their eyes, but they're laughing. Yes. Aunt Polly must have realized that firstly, at heart, she's happy that now nothing has happened to Tom. It's just about his toe. But that tear, that worry, when she came running upstairs to his room, that knowing that there was something serious, now that was a combination. But children, here I would suggest, Tom is very naughty, but you don't do such things. It's not right. Now, here I would like to just put a little hold to my story, and I would leave it here for you to think, make it up, try and give it an ending. You have to think now. What do you think must have happened? Maybe what you tell me is almost very near to the actual story, or maybe not. But then, like this, we all become story writers, story narrators, storytellers. And where do you have to post it? Maybe you can just record your audio or your video and just post it. Just email it to us on the link which I'll be giving to you at the end of this lesson. Now children, another task I have for you. One is what I just told you, and the other one is you have to find out the meanings of the words which will be coming to you in the next slide. Write it down in your notebook or some paper and keep it with you, and try and make a sentence out of each word which I give you. Till then, and also you have to do the worksheet which will be uploaded soon for this particular video. It will be labeled as English video lesson part 2. You have to look for that worksheet. Do that worksheet, make a video or record your audio. Try and tell me, what do you think must be the ending to this story? What would have Tom's done? After seeing Tom's toe, what do you think Aunt Polly must have done? She cried, she smiled, but then after looking at Tom's toe, what would have been the next reaction? Keeping in mind the character of Aunt Polly, you have to come up with the ending of the story. And by the time next week when I come back with the ending of the story, let's see if you're anywhere close to my story. Till then, you take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.